Hey everyone, I'm Monica Clavijo, and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Justin Crane, who's a veteran, a father, and what many call the miracle man. Justin's story begins in the military, where discipline, sacrifice, and unseen battles shaped who he was. But in September of 2023, everything changed when Justin suffered a catastrophic aortic tear that led to emergency open heart surgery and a 9-day coma. His kidneys shut down, his legs lost blood flow, and the doctor said that survival was nearly impossible. And yet, against all odds, Justin came back. In the first part of our two-part series, we're going to dive into the military journey, the medical crisis that almost ended his life, and the near-death experience that gave him a glimpse of beyond this world. It's about survival, it's about faith and finding purpose when death itself is at your door. As always, I'd like to thank you all for your continued support by subscribing to our YouTube channel, hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an amazing episode with all of the amazing guests that continue to come on the show, sharing all of their stories, helping us all heal collectively. Thank you so much. And now let's dive in. Record. All right. All right, Justin, we're recording. Let's go.
All right, here we are. Here we are. Finally, we've talked about this for a year, and now we get
Dude,
to talk. I hope I didn't forget everything we're supposed to talk about.
you're not joking. How long have we been planning for this? It's definitely been a couple of months, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's been a good 8 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, happy and honored to finally have you on the podcast sharing your story. Um, I've known you for a long time through our mutual friend, Gray. And I remember you fondly when we all used to work together in TV back in the golden years of television.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, so thank you for sharing your story. So let's just dive in, right? I already recorded my pre-introduction of you of kind of like what we're gonna do, a little two-part series, which is the first one that I'm doing with you. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is gonna be fun. So let's start with such a great accomplishment, in my opinion, is, serving in the military, right? And what the military is supposed to stand for, right? But that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we can get into. But you joined the military, and w- what what was it that called you to join the military? What was your kind of thinking behind it at such a young age?
Well, I grew up in baseball and moved around and moved around and moved around and moved around. So um, I got to a point to where my elbow was worn out and through baseball and playing 3 seasons a year and had a pretty bad injury my junior year in high school. I come from a family of military.
Okay.
I'm third generation airborne, and I just said, man, my home life sucked. I was over high school life. I was beyond my age at the time. I had all my credits. It was time to go. I enlisted at 17,
Mm-hmm.
and just knew I needed to do something different.
Yeah.
And when this dude in a beret walked into the school recruiting, I said, I want to wear that.
So you went into the army, right? That's the branch that you went
Yes,
into.
ma'am. I went in the Army, went to Ranger School, and served with Fifth Special Forces Group um, at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Yes.
Very nice.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
and how long did you serve for?
4 years.
4 years.
Yes, ma'am.
So what kind of emotional and mental toll does that take on you, serving in the military for 4 years?
Well, to be honest, I served at a time um, when it was a shit show. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
um, dude, I'm gonna get ugh, ugh, getting emotional. Think about it. It was just bad decisions being made, from up the chain, you know, and wasn't a good time. Wasn't a good time for me, to be honest. I was proud as hell to be there and loved it, you know. But it's funny. The last 6 months I served, my battalion commander saved my ass because I kept fighting. I kept fighting up the chain of command because of the bad decisions. and I
Yeah.
kept getting in trouble, So the last 6 months I was in, I was my battalion commander's driver. Um, and then they tried to recruit me into training in air assault school. Fort Campbell, Kentucky is all about air assault, right?
Mm,
Deploying helicopters and stuff. So
okay.
that was a big part of what I did. Um, but they saw me for being a different character. They saw I didn't fit in to most of these personalities in the military. You know, I don't have any friends from the military.
And
You know,
what do you think that is?
um, I think just this molded mind of this is what you do because I said so. It's
Yeah.
like raising a kid in the 70s because I said so, you
Right.
know, and I just didn't buy it.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
didn't buy it.
yeah. That does have to be kind of the mentality in order to be able to survive in the military,
I didn't buy it.
100%.
And, and I saw what we were doing wasn't right, you know.
Hmm.
And again, I'm, I don't want to make this political, but I believe in our military. I believe in our government to a point. I mean, it is what it is, you know. And I don't want to go that direction in this conversation, to be honest,
And we won't, and we won't. I just kind of want
Okay.
to set a foundation for who Justin is, and I
Yes,
believe
ma'am.
that the military really served a big role in kind of the story that we're going to share with everyone today. So,
Yes, ma'am, 100%. And it gave me structure, that I needed, and structure I provide my son, you know, as a
yeah,
single father, So yeah, 100%,
yeah.
100%. And
So
I'm proud
then,
of what I did.
yeah. Oh, as you should be, as you should be. I have a lot of cousins that also served in the military around the same time that you did, and so I'm very familiar with the stories and the traumatic experiences that live on with you forever after
Right.
you've seen what you see there. So
Right.
I can certainly empathize and identify just from hearing the conversation. So I can't imagine being there in person, what that does to you, right? So let's talk about then, since we don't want to dive into this conversation too much.
Let's not get deep so quickly.
Let's dive into then you going back into civilian life, right? So you're in the
Yeah.
military, you're in the army for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
You decide not to re-enlist,
Yep.
and so what's going through your head at this point? Like, what's young Justin gonna do?
Disaster recovery. And then, of course, TV and film and print and runway, of course, of course. I mean, doesn't it all go hand in hand?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see the lighting on the wall with your name, right? Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah. So,
what kind of lessons carried over then at that point? Now you're in civilian life, you
yep.
come from this very structured kind of uh background being in the military. So what are you doing now? How does that shape in the direction that you're headed in now, just dealing with the regular people?
So my first gig out of the military was with a disaster recovery company. I went in working as a temp in the warehouse. This is a company that did large loss disaster recovery work. So if a hurricane hits a hotel, they go in with all the labor and all the dehumidifiers and we're talking 9,000 CFM dehumidifiers that sit outside the sides of vans and blow in all this 104-degree, 3% RH air to dry the structure out. As they have 100 laborers carrying out material, right? I did years of that work out of the military. Um, and I went from temp laborer to immediately technician, and they kept pushing me to sales, but I ended up in project management. I didn't want to do sales. Project management, project management. So I did 8 years. I lived in New York. I've worked in 46 states between fires and hurricanes, and I ran temp labor, man. My biggest job was in Houston, Texas, when Hurricane Allison hit.
Okay, I
Um,
remember.
all right, all right. So Memorial Hermann Hospital. Um, I worked for this company as an independent project manager and ran 100 temp laborers during the day and 50 at night. And we ran for 32 days and ran this thing through in that amount of time. We had bulldozers in subterranean levels. We had the mortar float. We had all kinds of needles floating out in the street. It was a crazy show. It was a mess. It was a mess.
So you basically
Um,
didn't sleep for 32 days, two
yeah,
days
pretty
while you were
much,
out there.
pretty much. I was doing 16-hour days. I had help at night, but yeah, no. And that's what I did for years and years. And then I was living in New York, and I was at this trade show, and got approached by this person, and I signed. This is embarrassing to talk about. I don't talk about this. This is the embarrassing part. So then I signed with Elite New York, and did print and runway there for a minute, and then they sent me down to Wilhelmina, or sent me down to Miami, which is where I ended up in Miami. So I've been here for so long, and I signed with Wilhelmina, and started doing print and runway, and then got into TV and film, and I think I shared some of that with you, and
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote two screenplays, and you know doing that creative part was amazing. And a little, although I was depressed as hell, just
Yeah.
that whole world was weird to me after being military and disaster. I just didn't fit in. It was so weird, so weird. And I was so depressed through this, which is crazy when I should have been right top of my life, right? And it was just weird. I just didn't fit in. But I met some of the greatest people in my life when I was down there. Wink, wink.
Mm, we're not saying her
Anyway,
name anymore.
nope, 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 nope. Won't mention that color. Anyway, I got jokes. Anyway, but yeah. So from there, I met baby mama. You know, shockingly Colombian. I mean, that's what happens when you're in South Miami or South Florida, and they're all these Latinas are so beautiful, and then a hurricane hits up in Melbourne area, and my best friend with whom I made the movie I've shared with you
Hmm.
had moved to LA. He had daddy's money and he was able to go do that. I didn't follow him. Um, I knew I had a different direction, and got back into disaster recovery, started a company in Melbourne with my new wife, and it blew up. And I started restoring banks across the state, Regions Bank. And then 2008 hit, and bought too many properties, and Bank of America stopped spending money.
Ah,
Uh,
I
yeah, yeah.
know. I know exactly
As
what you mean.
as we figure out, oh shoot, she's pregnant, and she goes, oh shoot, you're broke. So that turned into
Isn't that always the way that life sometimes works out, though? It's like when the most beautiful thing is happening to you at the moment, it's like, let me smack you in the face so that you never forget it.
that's the deal. So that's what happened. So yeah, so she takes off. I'm starting over. I'm faking resumes, learning new software I didn't know anything about, saying I'm an expert in it, and pulled it off, and came back, and then headed south, chased my son. Although it did take me until I was 12 years old to get him back full time, but I do have him full time, and he's about to go to college. So yeah,
That's
so that's
awesome.
that. It's kind of that. And along the way, I was drinking alcohol every fucking day.
So then share that part with me. So when did you start seeing the cracks in your life start showing up after service?
The day my wife took off with my son.
Okay, that's kind of like when everything started hitting you and depression sets in and you're drinking and you're just like spiraling out of control at that point.
And yeah, that's when I created the inflatable canoe story idea.
Okay, share that with us.
All right, so I had a plan. An inflatable canoe, center block, chain, bottle of vodka, my Glock, and a letter. I'm traveling the world. You know my adventurous spirit. Want me back.
That's deep. That's deep. Well, I'm glad you didn't get on it.
Yep, 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 yep. My mom hates it when I mention the inflatable canoe.
Yeah.
I did share that with her later. And we have an interesting relationship as well.
You and
So,
your mother.
yeah.
Yeah. So everything is working itself out. You chase your son, you come back to Miami. I know that there was issues getting your son with you 100%. Um, what happens with this medical crisis? What so in what was it, 2023? Let's lead up into this. So in 2023, your aortic uh artery what, tore basically?
Bisected from my heart all the way to my left groin.
Okay, so set that up. How does that even happen?
Okay, so and there are all kinds of issues here that may have led up to it. All right. Again, not getting political, but I did get the shot, and that was I only gave in to getting the shot uh, to travel with my current ex-wife. It goes there, but anyway, so traveling with her for work, we went around the country, whatever. Um, I got that shot, which may have had something to do with it. I don't know. And then head-on collision with a commercial vehicle, their fault, totaled my truck, knocked me out. That may have done something. And I've been an alcoholic forever. High blood pressure blew it off. And I was taking pre-workout stuff
Oh,
in the
wow.
gym every day with my son, right? Everything to, blow my heart up. Um, but at the end of the day, the doctors think that head-on collision created a small tear. And then everything else just kind of led up to it.
So from the moment that you have this accident, how long then
A
does
year.
so
It
it
was a year
just
later. So
so little by little it's just tearing, little by little because you
possibly,
were you having
possibly.
any type of side effects? Were you feeling any type of pain, discomfort, where you could have been like, maybe I should go see a doctor about this because this doesn't go
No,
away?
nope, nope. None of
Nothing at
that. None of
all.
that. So
Well,
I mean,
because you're reasonably a healthy guy, right? You work
100%.
out, you eat
Yep.
healthy. Yeah,
A
you have
cold plunge at the sauna. Yeah, yeah.
right, right. So at that point, any discomfort is going to be easily felt, I feel,
Yeah,
because
100%.
you
100%.
never.
I know. I mean, I know. I feel it when my blood pressure is high this much. I know. I know my body. Yeah. So it was nothing. And then I walk in from the gym and drop, and I'm bleeding out everywhere.
So you
And
okay? So what happens then? Okay, so take us to that moment where you pass out, because of this tear that you have, and they have to take you to emergency surgery in 2023.
so I walk in, happen to have a friend here. And I never call the doctor. I don't,
Well, of course not. You're a guy.
I have so many cuts and just stuff I've super glued back together because that's what they taught us in fucking the army.
That's how you do.
I mean, you're right. I'm a dude. Anyway, so and I've broken everything on the right side of my body. Whatever, we won't go to that. But that being said, yeah. So I had a friend here, and she goes, "Should I call 911?" And I'm like, I can't feel the left side of my body, and I can't stand. Call 911. And then from there, I don't remember anything until I don't know how much longer it was because all of a sudden I'm looking up and I have family around me and they live an hour and a half away, right?
So you
So
lost track of
now
all that time.
all that time, um, and we'll follow back up on that and all the conversations I had during that time. Had a lot of
Yeah.
conversations
Oh
apparently
yeah. Well,
with paramedics and
that's the
all the
focus.
stuff.
That's the focus of what we're really going to talk.
Wow.
That's the big stuff what we're going to
All
talk about.
right, all right. So we'll get there. So I wake up and I'm surrounded by everybody, and of course my son's standing there. And again, it's just me and him right at home, right? It's me and him, and he's sitting there and he's calm and cold. He knows his daddy. Oof. Anyway, ah, and I said, brother, give me a minute. It's gonna be okay. Let me go deal with this shit. I'll be right back. All right, just relax. I got this. Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. You know. And I knew it, and I was convinced. And even though I didn't know what the hell was going on, I had no idea what was going on. I just knew I wasn't going to die. And last thing I remember going into surgery, I'm going down the hall, and I leaned back and said, "Alex, do your fucking homework."
Yeah.
you know. And then I go under, and you want to hear about the story when I was under? I think that's crazy.
I
Or
want to
you? What do you want?
I want to understand the surgery. So your
Okay,
kidneys, at one point, do your kidneys shut down? Uh,
immediately.
right. So your right leg lost all this blood flow,
Left leg got no blood flow for 9 hours. Kidneys were shut down for 9 hours
and the
completely.
surgery was 9 hours. It was a 9 hour
Surgery was
surgery
9 hours. Well, it was 5 hours. They closed me up and then realized I was still bleeding. They didn't get it all. Had to open me back up,
Oh,
go back in.
shoot. You're kidding me.
Nope, nope. And they have me in this refrigerated room, apparently, which I found out later, um,
Because
because I was toast, and I guess whatever that added to it, I don't know. I don't. I haven't looked back into it, and I don't understand how all that works. But apparently, they had me in a refrigerated room. I mean, I was toast. I was done. I was out. I was gone.
So the doctors were not positive to your family, right, about your outcome with the
Oh,
surgery.
hell no.
So you have the surgery. It lasts 9 hours. They have to
Mhm.
go in a second time.
Yeah.
You have all of these, your kidney shuts down, your legs don't have any blood flow. And then at this point, the doctors are able to stabilize you. And are you in an induced coma for 9 days?
Induced originally, and then they couldn't get me back.
Oh, shoot.
They
Okay.
kept trying to get me back, and I wouldn't come back.
Okay. So what do you remember before blacking out? Before you're going into surgery, what do you remember? What was the last thing that you remember going into surgery?
Seeing my family around me
Uh-huh.
and telling my son to do his damn homework.
Okay. All right. So you went in with a lot of love, right?
Yep,
It's certainly a lot of love to okay, so then what happened? So then you're not here. You contacted that fifth dimension that we talk about so many times.
100%.
You had a near-death experience during this time.
100%.
So what happens? What do you remember it? Is it something that's vivid?
100%. And it's so clear. It's so clear. So I'm in it felt like the basement of the hospital, right? Um, but there are all these filaments in the air. It was like it was kind of dirty, right? And I actually see filaments in the air. And I'm sitting on this couch, and their nurses are around me getting ready to go to dinner. Now, even though I feel like I'm in the basement of the hospital, there are these huge windows and a skylight. It's storming outside, crazy storming. And I see this tall, dark figure standing at a window, just with his face through the window, staring at me,
Tall, dark.
tall and dark. And
Well, that's creepy.
and so I tell the nurses, don't go out there.
There's something out there.
There's something there. And they're like, what are you talking about? There's nothing there. Relax. Stop, stop, stop. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And I'm like, seriously, don't go out there. And they're like, no, we're going to dinner. We're going. And I watch them go out, and the figure doesn't move. He's just staring at me. And I watch these people running through a parking lot in a crazy storm going to a car. So then I'm sitting on this couch, and I realize there's some dude on the couch with me sleeping, kind of homeless looking dude. I don't know. And I'm like, all right, that's cool, whatever, no big deal. Do your thing, bro. We're good. We're good. And then I look up at the skylight, and there's this really sexy dude, shirt off, beast dude, with a sexy chick by his side. And he's like, bro, let me in. Bro, let me in, let me in. And I immediately knew that he was bad news. But my first instincts were to go, okay, cool. I got you, bro. Give me a minute. I got you. I got you. Relax, relax. All right, bro, I'll get you in here. Relax, relax. And then I look to the right, and now there's a door, like a screen door, opening up to a patio somehow in the basement of this hospital, whatever, whatever, right? And there's a 7 foot homeless looking dude just looking me dead eyed, another hot chick on his side, staring over his shoulder. He doesn't say anything. He's just standing at the door. And I look up, and I swear I remember this so clearly. I said, hey, what's your name, bud? You look like Mike. You look like a Mike. So, Mike, here's the deal. You can't come in here. I got you, bud, but you can't come in here. And he shuffles like 2 inches. And I go, Mike, you can't come in here, buddy. You got to go. I'm talking to him like he's, right, simple, because he looked simple, this big, weird looking thing, right? And he shuffles more. And I finally went, Mike, I will fuck you up if you come in here. Don't come in here. And I mean, it got intense. I'm like,
Yeah.
I will fuck you up. You're not coming in here. And I looked up at the boy at the fucking window up there and said, bro, you got to go because I will fuck you up. And then it shifted. And now I'm in the back of this semi truck.
So you just got into a moment of anger at that point. What do you,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, um, when they talk about their NDEs, share that there is almost like a life reflection, right? That happens, right?
Okay.
Like a life check that happens right before you're going to transition or come back. And just in listening to you, by the way, a lot of the things that you're talking about, just with names, the figure that you're explaining, these are just images that I have recently on a daily basis. So it's kind of creeping me out a little bit because I'm
Wow.
like, all right, are these supposed to be signs that I'm supposed to be listening to also? Because I'm trying to get very in tune with that side of my life. But um, just maybe you were feeling angry with yourself, right? And at that point, you're just like, man, I've made so many mistakes, right? And it's like that whole shame that we carry through all the bullshit that we did when we were here, and it's trying to teach you that you're bigger than this, right? And you're a better person, and you're a good person. Anyway, I'm just talking out loud as you're sharing their story because that just crossed my mind. That life reflection that happens as you're transitioning.
I believe 100% that there are demons around us all the time.
Yeah. Well, I
And I
mean,
believe those were true demons. I believe for a fact, I believe it. I believe in God, and I believe in demons, and I believe that they're on us all the time. And I believe they are absolutely attracted to people like me. I believe.
are you a religious man?
Yes, ma'am. I pray every morning.
Okay. Christian?
Yes, ma'am. Christian, 100%. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I believe in God and Jesus. Yep.
Okay. So after you tell all of these figures to fuck off,
Mhm.
what happens next?
Then I'm in the back of this semi trailer full of weed, full of pot, and I'm wrapped in plastic and I can barely fucking breathe. My face is wrapped in plastic and I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Um, the back door opens and Colombians are standing there. Specifically, I know they're Colombian. For some reason, I know they're. And they're like, all right, you're good, you're good. And then they start laughing and shut the door. Now I'm still sitting there wrapped in plastic and I can barely breathe. And then I start hearing the doctor calling my name. And he's like, hey, you're here, you're here, you're here. And then, I don't know the time period. Then I wake. I'm so drugged up for 2 days. The first day, I'm still seeing all these filaments in the air in the hospital room. And there was this Latin chick, one of the nurses, that was doing something, and she scared the shit out of me. I grabbed my mom and said, she's going to take my organs. They told me. And I swear, after I woke up,
But are you awake at this point?
I'm awake at this point, and
You're
I
awake. This
swear,
is not
I feel
you
I feel like I'm
dreaming.
awake at this point. I feel like I'm awake at this point.
Did you ask to see if you were if this actually did happen, or was this a figment of that imagination of yours when you
Clearly,
were?
it was a figment, but let me tell you how crazy it was. I literally remember this specific lady grabbing my arm and saying, I will kill your family if you don't shut up. We're taking your organs or we're taking your family. Shut up. Don't you say another word about it. And then, it was after that that I grabbed my mom and said, Mom, you can't, you have to get her out of here. And and my mom said, I said all that, so that was the first day. Second
But
day,
you don't remember any of this part where you're actually having this conversation.
I remember it 100%, and I feel like it's real. Both the situation with the lady, the nurse, grabbing my arm, telling me she's going to take my organs or take my family.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I mean, and then I remember telling my mom. I mean, I feel like this really, really happened. I feel like this was after I woke up, you know. And my mom said, "Yeah, you said this," you know. So maybe I made part of it up, but the rest was real. My
That's what
reaction was
I'm
real.
trying to understand that, right?
Yeah.
So are you in another dimension at that point where you're experiencing this, which very much happens with quantum physics, right? That's what they talk about, that we are living multiple realities at the same time. We just don't remember them. And that's how we shift. Do we shift to a higher vibration, a lower vibration? Are we
I
depressed?
believe in
Are
that.
we
I believe in
happy? Are
that.
we killing it? Right? And that's
Right,
what
right.
happens. So were you experiencing different versions of this reality that's Justin's soul at that moment, and you're just remembering it in little segments? It's like
Or was it
deja,
just drugs? Or was it just drugs?
or were you just high as a kite? Right? Come
I don't
on.
know. I
let's
don't
keep
know.
let's
I
keep
don't
it
know.
woo-woo. It's fun.
It is, it is. And then but the second day, still, I'm still drugged up so much. I saw, the curly tails, right? The lizards.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah, those
so
are creepy. What's up with those now lately? Like they're like we're
they're
invaded.
aggressive as shit too. They're little
We're like
assholes.
we're like invaded with them over here
They are.
now.
We are. We
Yeah.
are. They're from Cuba. We're invaded by all you people. Anyway,
Are they?
I'm kidding.
What?
I'm kidding.
Well then I take it back.
All right. All right. Um, but yeah. So the second day, I'm still so drugged up, or in a different dimension. I don't know. Um, I it was so cool because I was so borderline that it's like I'm having these absolute visions,
Hmm.
but I'm also in control and understanding they're just visions. It was so cool. So remember monkeys in a jar? Remember how you just the monkeys you hook them the
Yeah,
tails
bing, 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 bing. Yeah.
and you hook them right and they all hook
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I literally saw curly-tailed lizards walking up the wall in my room in my hospital, and they were hooked together tail by tail. And it going up to the ceiling. And I'm watching this going, I know this isn't real, but this is so damn cool to see it.
Dude, it sounds like a tremendous. I'm picturing like artwork right now in the entrance of your home. That sounds like super cool.
It was so cool. It was so cool. And through all this, um, man, I don't know how much deeper we go into this and the personal stuff that happened, and I don't know what you want to hear, but wow.
Well, what I want to understand from you is
Okay.
what so many people talk about when they have a near-death experience. It changes you forever, right?
Uh,
And after a near-death experience, you tend to follow kind of like a dark night of the soul because it awakens all of these realities within you that you start questioning everything,
yep.
right? And a lot of that is part of the chosen path that supposedly we before we come to earth, right, before we're
Right.
born, we choose all of these lessons to happen. So
Okay.
nothing is a surprise, nothing is an excuse, we just don't remember anything.
Okay.
So with do you feel that your near death experience with did you meet Jesus, did you meet God, do you feel like you met him?
I didn't meet anybody, but I feel like it happened for a reason, and I feel like I'm here for a reason. Um, you
So
know,
it gave you a sense of purpose.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It took away a lot of fear and insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Now my son saved my life, when I was 35, but um, this whole new thing um, gave me a different vision of the world in my life, 100%, 100%. And I do believe in so much more than, we just came from monkeys and fucking blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Right, right, there's a deeper
There's
meaning
absolutely
behind
something
everything.
else going
Yeah.
on. Yep.
What types of emotions do you feel that stayed with you after you woke up? When you started feeling better, you were off the drugs. I'm talking about like when you were really back in your regular day to day. What types of emotions did you start experiencing at that point?
Well, my typical anger, you know,
Well, it
my
sounds it sounds
anxiety,
that way, but
my
that's what I'm saying.
guilt, my
Like,
guilt, my guilt more than anything.
have you ever sat with a professional or anyone that you've shared kind of like these visions that you had when you were experiencing them, where because everything that I'm hearing is anger, right? Like you were so angry all the time. You wanted to fight everybody. You were wrapped up in plastic where you couldn't breathe, right? Like it's a lot of negative energy that with what you're sharing that you experienced.
Mhm.
Have you ever talked to somebody that understands this better than me? That they could kind of like give you a better explanation of why you were that's what you were feeling, that's what you were sensing at that point.
I don't have a good, I have not had good experiences with therapists.
I mean, neither have I completely understand you.
I mean, 2 out of 3 tried to sleep with me. I mean, come
Oh, that sounds like a fun therapist. That
on.
wasn't my experience.
That's not the therapy I need, or maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, mine just
No,
mine
but
just wanted to charge me and get me out of there.
anyway, the stories for other times. But I mean, I even went in one time with a current girlfriend, and that therapist clearly wanted to sleep with both of us. So anyway, yeah, I
Kinky.
so whatever. So eh. But that being said, I'm about to go into some other therapy, and all this is going to be discussed and blah blah blah. But that's happening next week. So
Okay. What you felt is, once you went into, the regular world after you experienced this horrible medical surgery, just anger. You were angry, you were shameful, right? So you had all this
guilty,
negative
guilty more than anything.
guilty of what?
Failing.
Yeah, sure. How old are you at this point?
I'm no 50.
50 years. Okay. Yeah. Hey, that's when it happens between 40 and 50. It's like all of a sudden now, if you're gonna go through it, that's the age that it always happens. That's where you're like,
Yep.
man, I just like blew my life away.
Right.
What have I done with myself when I knew deep inside that I was capable of so much more,
Right.
right? We feel like such failures at that point. Um, what types of shifts did you have in perspective after you experienced death and living? Did you want to continue living, or were you kind of like, I'm done with this. This is bullshit. I'm so frustrated. I'm so angry. I don't want to continue doing this anymore.
No, I was immediately like, I look like Billy Bob Thornton. This sucks. I dropped 30 pounds. I went from, 200 to actually 200 pounds to 168 in 10 days,
Yeah.
you know.
You gotta
Um,
you gotta get me some of those pictures so I can
I
post it
will.
up. Yeah,
I
I
will.
remember seeing those, and I remember that I'm assuming that it's a girlfriend that you had at the time,
Yep.
posted them, and it came up on my feed, on my
Yep.
Facebook feed,
Yep.
and I just remember saying, I'm like, that's crazy, ex-boyfriend, what's happening here? And I ended up calling her and I go, hey, something happened to Justin. Like he's all messed up. He's in the
Mhm.
hospital. He had
Mhm.
open heart surgery. And she contacted your mother right away to find out what was going on
Yep.
because yeah, I remember seeing that and how you'd lost all that weight. Yeah. So sure, and it's understandable for you to fall into a massive depression after experiencing that level of surgery, all the drugs that they're pumping into your system, right? There's got to
Yep.
be like a side effect to that long term also.
Yep.
Just the recuperation, seeing your body so weak,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
did you feel like you were a burden upon people at that point?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But, I'm still a single father in Jupiter, where it ain't cheap, and
Was
pulled it
your
off.
was your son living with you?
100%. Just
Oh,
me and him.
so
Yeah.
who was taking care of you during your
At that point
recuperation?
in time, a friend, this old friend of mine that I knew forever and ever, happened to be just in between jobs. Angela flew her out from Oklahoma a week before this happened. She was here when it happened. She called 911.
Oh God,
She hung
amazing.
out.
Yeah.
But again, that went into then she cracks into my phone and things get dramatic. And my mom's like, you got to go. It got dramatic. It was crazy. It was crazy. But here's the thing that lifted me up. Every woman I've dated since high school reached out to my mother. They found a way to reach out to my mother during this happening.
Really?
I've never burned a bridge. There's some that don't want to talk to me, but I'm telling you, every woman I've dated since high school reached out to my mother
I'm telling
as
you,
this happened.
as soon as I told Gray, the first thing she did is like, let me reach out to his mom to see what's going on. Because I was like, girl, look at these pictures. It does not look good. See what's going on with
They
him.
didn't think I was coming back. And there was only one nurse that kept telling my mom and my son, he's coming back. He's coming back.
Yeah,
But by day 6, they're like, he ain't coming back. He ain't coming back.
that's
Crazy.
crazy.
And then I woke up and, it was, I was in 17. So 9, 6. So 6 days after waking up, I'm released. I didn't get any kind of therapy after that, period. And 4.5, 5 months later, I'm working again. I'm back in the gym. I'm 195. I haven't been working out much. I'm about to start working out again in a new facility. Anyway, but man, I'm
You're gonna
6'2",
be fine.
195,
You're gonna be
2 years
listen,
later.
listen, Justin, if there's something about you, and in speaking with you the other day, there is an energy that you have where it's an energy of a fighter, right? And you have to the one thing that helped me a lot is and my cousin Mei Ling, and I thank her forever for telling me this once because I was going through some
Did you say Mei-Ling?
Mei Ling, Mei Ling. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Mei-Ling, not Mei-Ling. She's not Asian.
Well, it's kind of an Asian name. I have this conversation with everybody when I say her name. She's as Cuban as can get.
Okay, okay,
But I don't know why her parents named her that. But yeah, her name is Mei Ling.
okay.
It's very Asian, yes.
Interesting.
But she did tell me when I was all up in my head about everything, and it was you need to learn how to forgive yourself. And
Yeah.
once you learn how to do that, Justin, because and then the other day I just heard somebody talking, it was a Buddhist talking about if you can change the way you think, where you don't think about yourself, you just think about others. Okay.
Yep,
And
yep.
just and hear it out, right? Like think about it. Whenever you get in your head about anything, it's always like, fuck, I should have done this. Shit, I should have done this better. Shit, my God, I looked like an asshole when I said that, when I did
I
that.
have these thoughts all the time. I think
Change
about things 25, 30 years ago,
if
and
you
they get in my
change
head. They get in my head.
if you change that
Ugh.
thought process where you eliminate Justin Crane
Yep,
from that thought and just, put the other person, my son, my mother, my girlfriend, my friend, whoever it is, the bum that's talking to me, right? The homeless person that's talking to me in the street, and just push your thought to that person and eliminate yourself from it. That's it. You're changing it's like a whole new ball game that you're playing now because we are so we criticize ourselves so hard because
yep,
we know our inner darkest secrets. We know them like nobody else, right? So it's like
yep,
we know what we're capable of becoming, where we're slacking, when we're not slacking, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We know all this already, right?
yep.
So it's just about really forgiving yourself and just putting yourself where you're thinking about other people and not yourself all the time. We're too self-absorbed. And
100%.
anyway, and in speaking to
100%.
you, that's what I see. Like
Yes, ma'am.
I see a
You see me
man.
being self-absorbed. Got
No, I see you
it.
being really hard on yourself, and I see you still struggling with with a lot of thoughts, right? Because
100%.
and that's what you got to like work on is your thoughts,
Yep,
right?
yep. You're right.
And talking and sharing your story and listening to listen the Sean Ryan podcast.
He's my boy.
I love that
He's my
podcast.
boy.
I can watch that shit all day long. I just love
Yep.
and it's all guys like you, right? Like you got all these tough macho men on there, right? Like all these military SEALs, former Rangers, and they're getting on there and they're crying and they're saying how they wanted to commit suicide and how their wife saved their life and and as soon as you let that vulnerability come out and just start sharing your story and recognizing that you're awesome. And look what you just said when you were in the hospital, how many people called every ex-girlfriend called your mother. If you were a douchebag, that would not have happened. That's all I can tell you, okay?
Yeah.
So, did faith or spirituality change for you after you experienced this, or did
100%.
like in what way then?
100%.
In what way?
Um, you know, I grew up in Georgia, Southern Baptist, the most hateful church you can be in, and watching people go in there and, say, God's everything. And, the kids are being told, if you don't make your bed, you're going to hell. Then we walk out, everybody's talking shit about each other, and it was just bullshit.
Yeah.
It was bullshit.
Yeah.
And my family literally told me, yeah, religion's bullshit. It's just here to control the masses. You know, it's bullshit. It's man-made and it's bullshit. You know, and that's how I grew up. You know, um,
By
but
see so by experiencing this where you were able to kind of cross over that veil that we hear about,
yep,
it opens up it opens you up to understanding that we're not alone, right? Like
100%,
there's definitely something bigger than us out there that is
100%,
controlling us, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I believe in demons, and I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus. All of a sudden, and my biggest battle, for years was, man, you can want to believe, but you can't make yourself believe,
Yeah.
right? You can say you believe, you can play the game, but I mean, something has to trigger, to really believe it and feel it and know it.
Right. Well, isn't that manifestation?
That, yes, to a point, but how do you make yourself do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know, but I know that experience got me there 100%. First thing I do every morning is pray.
And I love how you said that you really feel like you are here for a purpose at that
I know
point.
I
Like
am.
there's a reason why you came back, and they always say like I'm not done here, right? When you come back, when you have these near death experiences, when
Yep.
you come back is because you haven't finished that mission that you set for yourself or that was set
Right.
for
And I think
you.
I found it through certain things we'll talk about later. Um, I think I found my direction, and it's not disaster recovery. I think after I take a little break, I'm going to be in a different industry.
Okay, good. Good for you.
And I'm meeting people right now, that are helping me, you know, that want me to be part of their organizations. And I look forward to that.
Sure, sure. You would be a valuable asset indeed, for anyone. If you had to sum up one core lesson that you've had from this experience, what would it be?
No, you're not alone.
Yeah,
Be honest about your fears, doubts, pains, and
100%.
reach out. Reach out.
When you need
Talk to
help,
people.
right? Yeah. There's nothing more powerful than that. There's nothing more powerful than that indeed.
Don't be ashamed to be weak.
Yeah. Everything's
Yeah.
gonna work out, Justin, just
Yep.
remain in faith. Remain in faith and
Oh, 100%.
I've been where you're at, my friend. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know the feeling. But from soldier to survivor, Justin Crane is living proof that pain is not the end of the story. We are going to then we're going to end then this episode so that we can allow all of this information for everyone to process it with everything that you've shared with your NDE. And we are going to have a part two where we're going to be talking about how the survival was not the end. It was only the beginning, but a darker chapter with depression and addiction does follow. And that's what we're going to get into part two. So I just want to thank you all for all of your support by subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting the notification bell. Amazing guests like Justin are coming on and getting so vulnerable where they're sharing their stories of sacrifice and healing with all of us, just so that we better understand that we're not alone. Because a lot of times we always feel like we are. So Justin, thanks again for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And we'll catch you in the next round. Okay, we'll talk about your purpose. Your purpose.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your platform. I like what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Justin. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye.